like I ain't even trying. Just a kid from Briarwoods, I'm wearing number 9. Met Coach Franklin down at Vandy, flipped to Happy Valley. Now I'm coming back and got the natty on my mind. They can't touch my deep ball. Every game I'm scoring.
Hello, welcome to episode 5 of the Third and Long podcast. We're in week 8. This has been a great run for us. And there's been a variety of topics going on in the NFL. We're just going to talk about them. It's been a great week, and this week we have Henry Mitchell, Christian Josie, Drazen Gisberg, Sean Allen, and Greg Gitter. Sorry, Ike cannot be with us today. Prayers up for Ike. Okay, so we're going to start with the wheel today. Wheel teams. You guys know the drill. So, Henry, can you just pull that up, please?
Yep. All right. Let's spin this wheel. Sorry if this is lagging. Sometimes it lags, but – and we got the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Okay. Well, this team recently, they had to buy this last week, but recently they named Tua the starting quarterback, and that is what are you guys' opinions on that with Fitzmagic there and stuff?
I don't like it yet, just because of the fact that Fitz was playing well.
Yeah, I think if Fitz was not doing well, then maybe they didn't win that many games, then I'd be totally for it. Because I think Fitz is there just to be a mentor for Tua.
Yeah, but I think they made that decision too early. Because we know what Tua can do, but we've also seen what Fitzpatrick can do. Because obviously he's been like a backup type quarterback his whole career, but I don't think he deserves to be a backup right now. Because he was playing great before they benched him, and it just wasn't really a good idea. I'm not saying that Tua shouldn't start later this year, but I think it was too early because they could easily win some games with Fitzpatrick. Maybe not make the playoffs because we know they're probably not making the playoffs. But I think Fitzpatrick needs to start for a few more weeks before they put Tua in. Even though he's a mentor, it's just not – I don't know. I don't think that's how it should work.
Yeah. I don't like the move, but I am very excited to see Tua play. I don't think he'll do as good as Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is going to be the best quarterback from that draft draft. But I think Tua will do very well. I'm excited just to see how he plays.
Well, you're forgetting about another rookie that has been crazy, Mr. Ben DiNucci.
Oh.
Okay, he's coming from the Cowboys, right? And the Cowboys. You guys know how it goes. They're a talented team. They just can't pull it – well, not anymore with that quarterback situation. Dalton just got out for maybe 2 to 3 games with a nasty hit from Bostic. But, those Cowboys, what do you guys think about them?
They suck. They're the worst team in the NFL right now.
Okay. See, I thought they'd still be able to win their division, but after seeing them play 2 games, I think the Eagles win that division now. Because Carson Wentz is starting to play well. Past 2 or 3 weeks, he's really been on his game, and I think he'll continue that this week against Dallas and their terrible defense. So, yeah. I think we have a good week for Carson Wentz. He'll beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will be 2nd or 3rd in the division. I think the Giants will be last.
I think if the Cowboys are going to have to do anything, they're going to have to pull their defense together. Because
well, they just traded Everson Griffin away, right?
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they did.
They just traded him away.
They traded him to the Lions.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So are they in rebuild mode?
I don't know. Definitely not.
On their defense.
Yeah, on their defense, probably.
That offense, I think it's with Dak, they were one of the best offenses in the league. They scored a crazy amount of points. It's just they couldn't keep up because their defense was holding them. But
who knows? Mike DiNucci could come out and win Rookie of the Year. You never know.
Yeah, DiNucci.
He could come out and throw some dots.
Yeah, you never know.
Don't get twisted.
What was his conference again? He was at North Dakota State?
No, Northwestern.
Northwestern, my bad.
But he backs up Nathan Peterman at one point in college, so that's
that's a stacked quarterback core, right?
Yeah, have to be back up Nathan Peterman.
But
here's the thing with the Cowboys. So we obviously know how bad their defense is, but they have 2 Pro Bowl linebackers in Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith. I'm pretty surprised that they've been as bad as they are. Obviously they allowed the Washington football team to put up 25, but I feel like they would be better. Also, they still have DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
He's playing terrible. So is
He's
Van.
really
They're,
bad.
they have good.
Van Der's
Play-
playing
It's one of those teams that has good players, but they can't
Yeah.
pull through.
Put together.
And their offense is just inconsistent. And again with their offense, they have good players, but they can't pull through. Because now that they don't have a quarterback, obviously they have Zeke and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, who's one of the best rookie receivers. But that's no longer going to be the case. And I honestly think they're not winning a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, and so on a fantasy perspective, for this week, I would sit any Dallas Cowboys receiver other than Amari Cooper. Because, well, I
I'm
think
even questionable Amari Cooper. Like,
Yeah. Well, wait, who are they playing this week?
Eagles.
Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
they're like middle of the pack defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
They
but
got-
I feel like you always start Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no
But
I mean, they're gonna have to generate at least some offense, and that's gonna be probably
they did in
two.
the last game against a average defense.
And
Amari had 80 yards.
Amari Cooper got more yards than Andy Dalton threw.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
I think that
Yeah,
if
but,
the offense is going to come, it's going to have to be through Amari Cooper because, I mean, the Washington football team's front seven is pretty good, which might be the reason that Zeke had such an unproductive game. But this is 2 weeks in a row that Zeke's done that. So I think he's going to be inconsistent the rest of the year, especially. I think the reason he was doing so well was because they kept defenses on their toes with Dak. But now it's kind of down the drain for
I think
him.
with the Cowboys, they're gonna have a few games where they're gonna score 40 plus. I think there's maybe like one of those games, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're back with that talented offense." But then after that, I think it's just gonna fall from there because you can see they got two like top 10 at their position players, and like they're gonna have to have a game where they just go off one game. And I don't know when that's gonna come.
If you're
but
a
I think
Zeke
it will happen.
fantasy owner, I say trade him now while you still can. Because if you look at it, they're just going to put pressure on Danucci and stop the run, make him throw balls. So I would trade Zeke now if I were you.
I don't see a way the Cowboys drop more than like 30 points this season. I think 20 is
I can't even see that.
I think 20 is generous because like Andy Dalton, he looks terrible, and it was the Washington football team's defense. I don't think there's a reason that.
Well, dude, their defense is actually.
Guys, Washington football team has a good defense. Their
Yeah.
front,
But like,
Exactly.
they're-
Y'all saying it's middle. They literally have Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan's not that good anymore, but they have they actually have a lot of good. And do you guys know who Cole Holcomb is?
yeah,
Dude, he is
He's
a
balling out.
beast. He
Yeah.
is a beast.
Landon Collins is out for the season, but like.
I'm curious what y'all think if this helps or hurts Dak's contract situation.
I think it's gonna help him.
Yeah,
It's got to help him.
the franchise tag this year, right? And
Yeah.
so I think this will help him because they're gonna see what it's like not to have Dak.
Yeah.
And all that, I mean, he'll probably be the same after his injury. He may not. Like, I don't know how that's really going to affect the rest of his career. Hopefully
Isn't
not.
Dak still top 5 in yards in quarterback? I
No,
think.
yeah.
he fell out. He's out by. I think he's number 6.
Isn't it Matt Ryan is number 1 or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
And,
yeah.
and also Joe Burrow's top 3.
Teddy B is top 5.
Cards are not everything.
Going to Matt Ryan, a lot of the times when a coaching change happens, like in the middle of the season, people start lining up. You saw it with Deshaun Watson, and you saw it with Matt Ryan. Right after the coaches left that game straight after, they had a pretty good game. And, like, Matt Ryan has tons of weapons, and I feel like they're not making the playoffs, the Falcons. But like,
Atlanta should not be a team that is 1-5.
Facts.
Oh, no. I think, I mean, their defense is very, very bad, but they've got one of the better offenses in the league.
well,
I think it was just a combination of poor coaching and then a horrible, horrible offense.
you got to talk about the trade deadline here. And you think they're actually going to ship Julio away or no?
No,
I don't think they are.
absolutely.
That's their
not.
best player. They're not shipping him.
They,
It was a rumor, and it's just a fake rumor.
That's like trading
they
away.
shipped
Luke.
Matt Ryan too.
I mean,
I don't see a suitor for that. Do you?
I don't think you can do that as the
Oh,
Falcons.
no. Do you guys know who their backup is?
No.
It's what's his name?
Okay.
Ben Kurt. He's another meme on TikTok.
I just think that like
Bad
I
quarterback.
don't think you can trade away a guy that big, or like because then you'll see the repercussions. Like what happened with D Hop. I mean, it was a terrible trade, obviously, but I have a feeling the entire league would have been on Bill O'Brien's head, even if it was a decent trade.
So I think that the Falcons, I think their offense is completely fine how it is. If they keep the same, we've seen Todd Gurley is still good. May not be as good, but he's still good. He's getting touchdowns. I don't know what his yards per carry is. I think it's all right, at least. I think Matt Ryan can still give production for a couple more years. Julio's still going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league next year. Calvin Ridley's going to be even better. If they focus on defense during free agency in the draft and they get a solid defense, they find their coach, I think they're going to make the playoffs next year.
I think with Julio, you got to figure, like, when is the down – like, what do you think the average age is, like, for a downfall receiver?
We've seen
34?
When you're as old as Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I mean, A.J. Green's 32. I mean –
what is Julio, like 30?
31. So, I mean, you got to take into consideration, is he at the peak of his value right now? Or do you think he could still continue producing like the way he does?
I think he can still keep producing.
I think he'll still produce.
How many more years do you think? A year or two more?
I don't consider production as like a regression in skill level. I just think it gets to the point where I don't know how to explain it, because I feel like Julio is always going to be that good. It's just going to be a matter of if they're always wanting to throw to him over Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and also, I mean, throughout the years, it's been the same connection of Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. That's kind of like why I say Larry Fitzgerald, like, because Larry Fitzgerald had that great connection with Chris Palmer, and like if
Palmer.
Obviously, sorry, shut up. If Carson Palmer was still quarterback, which he wouldn't be because he's old, like I feel like that connection would still be strong in some way.
Yeah, like everybody ages. I mean, as you get older, you're gonna lose speed. As a fact too, maybe not like as much as other people, but you're gonna lose speed, and like you just gotta take in consideration if the Falcons think that Julio's still gonna be that top 3 receiver in the league.
Julio doesn't need speed though. He's big and he's got great route running. Like he doesn't need to be that fast to still produce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the difference with D-Hop. I mean, D-Hop's 3 years younger. D-Hop has the best hands, I think, in the game.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then another trade rumor, which I don't think is true for any point, is Michael Thomas.
No,
So, like,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I saw something about him going to the Eagles, but it's not happening. It's just a matter of his like character.
The locker room issue he had with him like punching his teammate or something during practice.
Yeah,
Plant boy.
He pulled his hamstring too, but I don't know. That's not character, but like he's getting injured again. So like, and he's 27. Last year, look at the yardage. That was just like a historic season.
Yeah. It was a historic season. He broke the reception record.
He had 1,700 yards.
Like it's them 3 that I think is top 3, and like I think they're just too valuable to be traded away.
As in Julio, Michael Thomas,
Diggs is not top 3, but he's top 10.
This year he is top 3.
That's cap.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He was better this year.
D-Hop.
What's your top 3 right now? No MT. What is your top 3?
No MP.
This year, barring injuries, I'm going D-Hop.
Devontae Adams, please.
He's been hurt though. Like
no, just saying.
Okay, well, all right. My top. I'll say 5. No particular order.
No, say an order.
I don't have an order.
Okay.
D-Hop, Diggs, Metcalf, Lockett, Adams.
What about Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones?
Ridley 6. Julio's been inconsistent.
I don't even know who mine. I definitely have.
I have Ridley at
Lockett.
What about Robbie Anderson?
Diggs.
He's around 7.
He's better than Diggs.
I got D-Hop 1.
He's not.
I got Devontae 2, and I got Lockett 3.
Yeah, I think Robbie Anderson top 5.
I do too. I think he's like.
I don't think he's 5. I think he's top 10.
Who?
Robbie Anderson.
I don't think he's top 5. No.
He's top 10.
Talking about like Metcalf and Lockett, we're gonna move towards more teams now. Like the Seahawks in that Arizona game, which I think is going to be the game of the year. That game was one of the best games I've ever single-handedly watched. And I think maybe Kyler has maybe propelled himself into kind of MVP consideration here with that game.
And no, he had another game like that, like earlier in the season.
Yeah, he's had a lot of games like that.
The picks are a knack, but Russell Wilson had 3 picks. I mean,
Yeah.
if he can outduel that, I think that is a signal saying that he could be an MVP candidate.
And you guys know what one of those picks was, right?
Yep.
Hey,
Okay,
Chase.
Metcalf.
I was about to say
Dude, that was
Dude.
wild.
that was
Oh,
wild. That was
That's like right before I stopped watching, and I was just sitting there, just like he looked like 3 feet taller than Buda Baker running down the field.
Buda Baker was so surprised. He was like, I thought I was about to score.
He looked back and then he was like, "Oh, that man's running."
Dude, what we said last week about DK Metcalf being the next Calvin Johnson, I think we're right about that.
I agree.
Yeah. He's like Julio and Calvin Johnson in a way. Like,
Here's something up for consideration. I know this is maybe kind of a shot in the dark here, but DK or Chase Claypool, who's the next Calvin Johnson, more likely?
No.
Claypool ain't all that, bro.
No, just based off. Like I saw tons of headlines saying Claypool's the next Calvin. I'm like,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
if the Steelers trade or release Dante or Juju, then he could be the number 1 receiver. But one of them has to go.
He's
I think,
not all that, bro. He
I
had
think
2 good games, and then it's just like,
I don't know. As of right now, I think it's DK. But to be fair, Claypool's also in his first season.
yeah.
So I mean,
his first season, it wasn't incredibly impressive, but you saw he had potential. It's just he wasn't.
I mean, DK ended up having like 900
For
yards.
wide receiver, it was pretty
It was
impressive.
pretty decent. He and AJ Brown both had like 900 yards. On
AJ Brown was incredible. too.
AJ Brown balling.
I think Claypool. I think as of right now, I think he's an undisclosed wide receiver 1/2 on that team because I feel like he's the one drawing attention.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I think
He's
I think
the
the reason
of all of them.
I think the reason that Deontay had 2 touchdowns in the game that he had was because of Claypool on the field.
See, you can't sit here and tell me that Juju's not the number 1 receiver on the Steelers.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
I think he's listed.
He's not the number 1.
Who
I
is?
don't think
Dante Claypool
number
already
one.
better than him.
I don't think
No.
he's number 1, but
Deontay
I
had
think that,
1 good game, 2 good games.
I think he's
All the other games were
he's
horrible.
number 1, but I think the defenses are kind of seeing him as a number 1 or semi-equal to Juju.
I think this is a little similar to like the Panthers, where Moore is listed as number 1, but I feel like they're focusing more on Robbie and coverage.
Yeah.
Facts.
So like he's listed, but really they're throwing to him like he's a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're seeing DJ Moore getting like 70-yard touchdowns also.
Yeah, because their whole focus is primarily on Robbie Anderson.
That play on the Saints was terrible from the Saints. They literally just watched him
He just
run.
didn't cover.
Yeah. But talking about the Panthers, more of an injury update here. McCaffrey's pulled off the IR, but it looks like he's not going to play. What do you guys think he's going to do when he comes back and stuff?
He's gonna ball out.
Yeah, he's gonna ball out.
And then Mike Davis are going to be filthy.
I don't think he's gonna be the same. Well, okay, it's hard to say he's not gonna be the same because he's Christian McCaffrey, but I think he's still gonna be a top 3 running back. I mean, like, I don't think the injury really affected him like in a huge way. It's not. I mean, obviously, it's not the same as like an ACL or something because ACLs are a lot worse. But he's still an elite running back no matter what. Like the injury is not going to stop him from being the Panthers' best player.
And in terms of fantasy, I don't think he'll give you the same production because of Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Either way, he wasn't going to give us the same thing he did last year. I think he would. If he didn't get injured, I still would have him at a top 3 fantasy running back. But I think he'll go down even more, not because of the injury, but because we saw Mike Davis emerge so much.
I agree.
I
So,
hope
you think you can name a player that would be a better running back than him after he comes back?
Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin.
Henry.
I think the only pure running back who's better than
Derrick Henry.
McCaffrey is Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook's the best running back in the league when he's healthy.
Because if you think about Kamara is a receiving back. He's basically a wide receiver who sits in the back.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry is obviously we know he's a beast, but I don't think he's as pure of a running back as McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook are. If that makes sense.
Derrick Henry.
Another one is Chris Carson because Chris Carson he's not as elite as them, but he's still a very good running back.
Derrick Henry, if you look at his pass catching, it's not that good compared to like all those other guys you're talking about, with McCaffrey and like Kamara, definitely.
But that's why he's a running back. He's not.
Dalvin Cook, because neither of them are very good at pass catching.
Yeah.
And same with Zeke. I mean, Zeke is also up there, and he's not a good pass catcher.
Yeah, I think that McCaffrey's gonna get when he comes back. I think they're gonna ease him in the first couple weeks. I don't think he'll be as good as a fantasy running back just because Mike Davis proved himself.
I think that's gonna be a big boost to like Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. All right, Dre's trying to talk about him. Talk.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Although fantasy production aside, and like even if he doesn't do as well, you still play him in your fantasy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You get
without
like, every week.
All obvious aside, you still play him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
he
have a
can
question.
score a touchdown every single week he plays. Like,
Yeah.
I have a question.
yeah,
Too.
yeah, exactly.
I have a question. Would you rather have Chris Carson or Christian McCaffrey next week? I mean, not this week because he isn't playing it. The week after that, who do you rather have, McCaffrey or
I mean,
Chris Carson?
depends on the matchup.
Carson, just because we don't know how McCaffrey is gonna do.
Yeah, because Carlos Hyde is Carson's backup, and like that's a very different skill level. So I think I would say Carson just because of the fact that Mike Davis is a lot better than Carlos Hyde would be as a backup. So
Yeah.
I would go McCaffrey also just because he's just better.
Yeah,
There's another one.
going to be longer than people are saying he is. There's some people that are saying he'll be out 2 or 3 weeks plus. It depends upon. He's got like a mid-foot sprain, and there's like that can either be very mild or it can be moderate. And he has moderate. I think Cam had moderate last year, and he missed months of football. So if Chris Carson has the moderate foot sprain, he might be out like a lot more than people are saying he is. And if it's minor, he could still be out 3 weeks.
Yeah, here's another question. Would you rather have McCaffrey or Zeke? Personally, I'd have McCaffrey there, maybe. I mean,
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
Chris
I think-
Carson is better than Zeke right now.
I think McCaffrey's defense second guess themselves more than Zeke would, because you don't know what McCaffrey's going to do. He can line up in slot. He can line up in the backfield and still go out for a pass. Where Zeke, he's probably just going to run the ball.
Yeah.
McCaffrey can run the ball almost as well as Zeke can, I think, and then he brings you that pass catching ability. So
here's another. Do you think it's a better pure runner, McCaffrey or Zeke? Like pure runner.
I
Zeke.
think Zeke.
100%.
Zeke is just like Zeke. I feel like Zeke is better when it comes to pure running back, but Christian McCaffrey's better because he gets
There's
more
more
yards off the reception, and he can actually I think he's more elusive than Zeke. I think that's a given. And also because he scores. I mean, actually, to be honest, if you look at the stats, they score about the same amount of touchdowns. If not, Zeke might even score more just because he's like the best player on the offense. But now that Dak's out, it's going to be, hands down, I would rather have McCaffrey. But I think he's still a better runner.
I think McCaffrey just because, I feel like if you put Zeke on – I feel like Zeke is versatile at the same time. But I think if you put McCaffrey into any system, I think he's going to do well. I don't think there's a team in the NFL that he won't find a way to do well on.
Yeah.
I think he just light it up anywhere. But I feel like Zeke is kind of a hit or miss type of thing. Because last season, I'm kind of comparing last Panther season to this Cowboy season. Because both of the starting quarterbacks got hurt, and you got to rely on everybody else on the team with the backups. And I think that we're going to be able to compare them a whole lot more now because we saw Christian McCaffrey have the year that he had last year because he had to have that year to do anything for the Panthers. But I think that because Zeke's doing so bad, I think I'd choose McCaffrey.
So talking about McCaffrey here, they're in the same division as the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers just signed Antonio Brown. What do you guys think about that kind of signing there and see how he does there? What do you think he's going to do? He's coming back. He's going to come back week 9. So what do you guys think is going to happen there?
I
I have no idea.
I think that was a big signing for the Bucs because I don't think there's any team in the NFL that has anywhere near as good of a wide receiving core as they do. I think it was between the Seahawks and the Bucs, whichever team signed AB was going to have the better receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they're just adding to their roster of just superstars.
Yeah.
I
I just don't know, go ahead, Sean.
I think this definitely shows they're trying to win the Super Bowl this year. That was kind of obvious going into the season, but I think Brady really, really wants to win another one just to prove that he's not a system quarterback. And I think the Bucs, Bruce Arians, I think they all just are really, really pushing for a Super Bowl this year. And AB, I think, is going to help them.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
All right, it's unrelated, but I just saw. So did y'all hear about like the Gilmore rumors?
No.
The Patriots have been listening to trade talks, and he just sold his house.
What?
Yeah, he said apparently all offers have been due on Tuesday, November 3rd at 5 p.m. So he basically just said the best offer gets the house. So he's selling his house.
Carlos Dunlap did that too in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Dunlap
but he's
lost the
also
gas. Cincinnati's
he's requested trades. He'll get. So
Yeah.
it looks like Gilmore may be out of New England.
That's
He
crazy.
probably
Yeah,
wants to be
we should sign him. We should sign him. Panthers should sign him.
Panthers need him.
That would be a great.
The
Yeah,
Panthers.
our corners are weak. Like we have Rasul Douglas, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dante Jackson's.
Carolina though. Like it's not a good market for people to. Nobody wants to go to North Carolina.
That's true.
hey, that is not true. North Carolina's
I
a
just
big
sent all the.
People who are in North Carolina, like I feel like people on the Panthers, on the Hornets, they like Charlotte, but I feel like people from the rest of the NFL and NBA aren't going to be like, oh yeah, look, I really want to go to North Carolina. Like nobody said. People want to go to New York and LA and places like that, not Charlotte, North Carolina.
We should trade for Chase Claypool or Juju because we're so famous on TikTok, North Carolina as a whole, and they're just such good TikTokers that I think it would just work really well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talking about the Buccaneers, from a fantasy perspective, like I think Mike Evans goes down to a wide receiver too. Chris Godwin, I don't think will be impacted that much.
I mean,
I think Mike Evans is out of Tampa Bay after this year.
that's not.
I don't.
If AB plays well and they re-sign him, yeah.
AB's on
Because
the
like
smallest
if you
contract
look at
possible.
it, all of Evans' touchdowns and targets have been in the red zone. Like the last couple games, he hasn't had over 25 yards.
I don't.
When Godwin plays, he averages 13.
But that's Brady also doesn't like throwing to his type of receiver.
He
Build.
likes the Edelman type Godwin receivers.
Yeah, that's why Scotty Miller literally balled out last week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that I think Tampa Bay was not the best place for AB to sign. It's probably where he's going to get the most money. But I think that Seattle.
They signed him to the minimal contract in the NFL.
Yeah,
The lowest amount of money
I
possible.
think that's the only thing AB was gonna get though. With his,
No one's going to take a chance on him. There's
I
incentives.
think Seattle would have been a better fit for him because you see, like Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll are the definition of how
I think Brady and Bruce Arians are gonna be able to keep him under control though. Like I think AB will listen to Brady more than he would anybody else.
Yeah, because Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but we also, I mean, I was going
He
to
knows
compare
what
it to
he's
his
doing.
time.
Brady's not gonna let anything stop him from trying to win another
Yeah.
Super Bowl. That includes AB's terrible personality or I don't want to say personality, but terrible locker room
Personality.
He wasn't even that bad in the locker room.
But every team cuts him because he just can't control himself.
Exactly.
I mean, look at New England. He literally scored a touchdown in his first game.
Well,
and
then he got accused for sexual stuff. So
By two different people.
yeah. Christian, why'd you do a fist bump there?
No, I saw.
Yeah, Christian. Okay. So moving on, Brady originally from the Patriots. Patriots, I don't know. that game against the 49ers. 49ers, too. Those
They
running
get
backs.
back this weekend too.
Those 49ers have a crazy depth at the running back position.
I've been seeing some things with the Patriots that literally they haven't had that record since the Patriots coach started.
Yeah.
Or they're wrong, but you know what I mean. They're 2-3. I don't think
They're 2-4.
they've had.
2-4, yeah.
They're going to get smacked by Buffalo this week.
I think that I don't know. I think that the reason that 49ers running backs are so good is because they know how to put them
I think their running back scheme there is just insane.
I agree. I think
They have so many ways of running the football. It's kind of annoying. Not annoying, but more of they're running the ball. Oh, look at that weird way to run the ball.
Also,
They
they have really good coaching. So, Shanahan just knows how to run an offense. And, obviously we know about their running game, but also they incorporate receivers into that, which is why they have Deebo Samuel, who is incredibly fast. And when he's not injured, I mean, he can easily catch the ball, he can run the ball. And then we also last week when I was watching that 49ers Patriots game, they actually line up Kittle at fullback a lot, more than you would expect. So I think they really just the coaches just know how to run the offense. And I mean, we saw what they can do. So I think they actually have a good shot because, I mean, they're in the best division in football. So man, I really don't know who's going to make the playoffs from that division, but it could easily be like 3 of the teams.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's going to conclude our podcast for this week. We have some more topics we can talk about the next week and come back for next time. This concludes our Week 8 podcast. See you guys.
Bye.
Throw it on a dime, like I ain't even trying. Just a kid from Briarwoods, I'm wearing number 9. Met Coach Franklin down at Vandy, flipped to